Hi folks, it's John Nizman from lastchanceautorestore.com, and today we're standing in front of this 1969 Ford Mustang Convertible. So this is just a quick little update to share with you. The last video that we shared, we had just unloaded this project vehicle off our trailer and brought it into the shop, and it had the front fenders and rad support and grille and hood and the 6-cylinder engine. So just an update, what we've done is we removed the front end components, we removed the fenders, the hood hinges and all that fun stuff. And then you can see we're preparing this whole front section for sandblasting. Is going to be a step coming up very soon. So our client who purchased this vehicle would like to have this engine bay area the same color as the body. Which we're going to have to clean up and do quite a bit of work on it to get it back to the standards it's going to require to have that nice red finish, high gloss paint. So the 6-cylinder engine that was in the car, we did a compression test on it, we had the engine running and we filmed it because we'll end up selling the engine for our client. And then once we had completed that, we removed the engine, drained all the fluids, remove the radiator and all of the components. You can see now we don't have anything along the firewall. The heater box, our steering assembly, our steering column, and our non-power brake master cylinder, all of that is removed. So now this engine bay is ready for degreasing and cleaning, and then once it's all degreased and cleaned, then we'll sandblast this whole front section, and then we'll expose any areas that may need to have metalwork or repair done. There's one section that I noticed, I don't think the camera can pick it up yet, but when we were doing the disassembly and we were taking the brake lines off, I noticed in this pocket here, and it's common on a Mustang, the lower control arm is in the way, but there's a pocket down in here where this rail comes across and this inner tunnel meet. And inside there, it looks like it hasn't been repaired properly. There looks like there's some seam sealer in there and some kind of material, but I poked my finger through in a couple of spots. Not a major issue. We want to have the car mobile right now, so but we'll be dealing with that in a little while. After the car is sandblasted and we have it all cleaned on the front section, we'll remove the control arms and the springs, and then we'll have access into that section. We'll cut out the rusted steel and we'll weld new steel in. So it's a fairly easy repair for us here at Last Chance. And then the other thing that we wanted to do, we like the condition of the front cowl area and these lower sections. Everything seems to be in nice shape there. The next thing we wanted to do is do some block sanding, because when we purchased this abandoned project, it was sitting in someone's garage for 3 to 4 years. And it had lots of dust on it, and it had quite a thick coat, or several light coats of high build primer on the car to protect it while it was in storage. So what we started to do is we started to block sand the door and the quarter panel just to get a reference mark of how much body work we're going to need. And so far we're quite satisfied with it. We started with a 240 grit paper, but the body was too rough to start there, so we went to another grit, which is 180, and that's a very common grit to begin with, and that's what we started with, was 180. So you can see this passenger door, we block sanded it all out at 180 grit, and you can see the different colors, which is exposing. There's some waves and some dings, and the edges aren't done properly, but not that big of a deal. That's kind of what we expected. And then same thing along this top rail. The camera's probably not going to be able to pick it up, but you can see where there's some dings along the top. But because of the shading and so on, I don't think the camera can pick that up. But if you felt it with your hand, you can see where there's some indentation. So it just needs some smoothing and some body work. And then as we come down the quarter panel, you can see we always mark to keep track, so it's 180 grit is done on this quarter panel, and we're very happy with the way it turned out. There's not a lot of body filler or smoother in it, and we're here at the metal section of the flare. So this is going to sand out quite nicely. And then as we come around to the back section of the quarter panel, I'll just get out of the way. It's very common even when they left the factory. And it doesn't matter what year Mustang we speak of. If we start talking about the first year, 64 and a half, and then going up to the 69, these white metal quarter panel extensions, and the same thing with the front fender extensions, they never really fit right, and they didn't spend a whole lot of time in attention to detail to make sure that the gaps are even between the quarter panel and these extensions. So these are going to require some work. The camera, once again, probably can't pick it up, but there's it's quite low in here, where you can see this is the body line across with the quarter panel, and this is this white metal extension is quite a bit lower than that. And then same thing on the side. It's a little bit on the wonky side. It goes in and then it comes out and then it goes in again. So a really nice job on Mustangs is to make sure that these all line up properly. So after we block sand this all out, we'll end up removing these extensions. We'll do the bodywork properly. We'll make sure that we use a straight block to square everything up. And then we'll make sure that these extensions fit the quarter panels properly as they should. So I just wanted to share with you quite a bit of progress on this project. It was quite a nice find. It's a 1969 Mustang Convertible, and I'm John from lastchanceautorestore.com.